Hi guys, so today we're going to be doing the skill donning and doffing of PPE for the Kentucky Nurse Aid test. So when you come in, if you have this skill, this is exactly what your setup is going to look like. You'll have your gown, and then you should have every size of glove that you need. So we're going to do donning and doffing, donning being the putting on of your PPE, your personal protective equipment, and doffing being the taking off. So when I would begin my skill, the very first thing that I'm going to do is make sure that I have on no rings, no jewelry at all, no bracelets, no Apple watches. And if you are wearing a long sleeve shirt, it's better to not wear jackets or anything that day, but if you are wearing something with sleeves, those are going to come up above your elbows. Then you're going to verbalize to your evaluator that you have washed your hands. Once you've done that, you're ready to start. So we're going to start with our gown. It's always going to go on first. And I'm going to take my gown and hold it out. It's very important, and just let it unfold like so. It's very important that you take a step back from the table and that your gown is never touching the table, the floor, a bed, anything. So once I have done that, I can start with my first arm, and I'm just going to wiggle my hand through here. If you're not able to get your entire hand through, then just kind of hang out and we'll fix it in a minute, but we're not going to use this hand. Okay, so we're just leave your sleeve however it falls. Once you've done that with this hand that is already gowned, I'm going to grab a hold of just the end. I'm never touching this gown on the outside at all, and I'm going to slip in the next arm. Same thing, if you can't get your hand all the way through, then at this point you can get whatever finger you've got now and use it to adjust this side and vice versa. Once you've done that, then we're going to go ahead and tie. We're always tying at the neck first. Remember, whatever kind of knot you tie, you have to also untie. So if you don't want to knot it up too much, you want to tie it behind your head, but if you have to, it is okay and allowed to tie it in front of you and then slip it over your head. So if you have trouble, then that's fine too, and just a simple loose bow. Once I've done that, then I can tie my waist. Again, my hands are staying out the entire time I'm doing this. We're kind of surgeon, Grey's Anatomy style, leaving our hands out to the side and never touching the gown. I'm not touching the table, I'm not touching anything. I'm gonna take the end of the gown and overlap it. So I want it completely overlapped so that nothing is showing, and then I'm going to tie it. It is okay and appropriate to tie it at the side if you have to, but we want it as far back on the side as we can, and preferably it's tied in the back. Again, be careful of what kind of tie you make and that it's not too tight. At this point, it's very important that we verbalize to our evaluator that none of our uniform is showing, and if it were, that we would wear a second gown. We do this because it's very hard sometimes to not have a little gap in the back and the top of your shirt show. So if you've told your evaluator nothing is showing, then nothing is showing. Once I've done that, now I can put on my gloves. If you're kind of in between sizes, or if you're unsure, it's always better to go for the larger size. So I'm going to grab my gloves and I'm holding them right at the end, and I'm going to slip my hand through, never touching the outside of the glove. It is important that you make sure, or even verbalize to your evaluator if you need to, that your glove is overlapping your gown. Even though this is a clean glove, I'm still handling this the same way, and I'm only holding it at the end. And I'm going to slip that hand in, and then again make sure that it is overlapping my gown. Once I've done this, then I can just do a little spin for my evaluator. Again, it does not matter what it looks like in the back because we've already told our evaluator that nothing is showing. I would verbalize that I'd perform the task, and then the donning part is complete, so now I can do the doffing. So the gown goes on first, gloves go on second. We're going to take gloves off first. To take off my gloves, I'm going to lay this palm flat and I'm gonna pinch right in the middle, and I'm gonna pinch it and pull it so that this is going to come out inside out. Once I've done that, this hand goes away, and I'm gonna ball it up in this hand. I'm gonna use one finger, and again, inside out, so that the glove comes off inside one another. Okay, once I've done that, I would throw this in the trash can. If you don't have a trash can, you're just gonna verbalize, I would discard that, throw it in the trash can. Now I'm gonna move to my gown. We have tied the neck first. We're going to untie the waist first. So I'm going to untie my waist. If you accidentally tied your waist too tight and you cannot get it untied, that's okay. You just let your evaluator know you cannot get the knot out and you're gonna have to rip it, and that's fine. So I've untied the waist. Now I'm going to untie my neck. And as I pull that forward, I'm going to hold it as close as I can to the neckline, pull it forward, and then I'm going to keep a hold of it. With 2 fingers, I'm going to hold on to the neck. I'm holding it as close to the neckline as I can so the strings are hanging. I've got one hand holding this, so this hand is going to be free. So with this free hand, I'm going to go inside of the gown. I'm never touching the outside. And I'm going to push that down, making sure that I grab at the sleeve so it comes off as well. And again, with that same hand, this hand is still free. I've got it all bunched together. Once I've done that, I can switch hands. So now I've got this hand is free, and I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm going inside of the gown, making sure I pull down at the wrist. Again, I'm still making sure my gown's not touching the floor, touching the table. My gown is off. I'm going to roll it inside out away from me. I never want it touching me. It's now contaminated. And this would be discarded as well. Once I have completed that, then my last step is going to be to perform hand hygiene. And that's the entire donning and doffing of PPE.